Hello, my friends. How are you? So, I am on the East Coast in the United States, and for me, it's morning. So, good day to you wherever you are, and thanks for joining me for my daily exchange of reflections and feedback from you. And today I'd like to build up on the idea of constructing reality. And I'm grateful that you're all joining. Ramanan Dikshit, Namaste. And Marco Thomas in Luxembourg, thank you. Fariba, thank you. Shabin, thank you. Saad Munir Bushir, hello from Hungary, thank you. Kirsten, thank you. Shraddha, thank you. Shraddha in Hong Kong. God, from everywhere. Arusiak from Armenia. Charles from Boston. Gabriella Wilson. Ramanan Dikshit, on and on. You're just wonderful people, and I thank you for your feedback. And I think we have now almost 800 people online in this conversation. Fariba from Sweden, creative, intuitive from somewhere. Erica Mann, thank you. Okay, so let's get on our topic. We're close to 900 people together right now, so let's talk about this. So, when I was much younger and my little children who are now parents, and I'm a grandparent, when they were growing up, I used to recite to them a prayer from the Course of Miracles. And the prayer was somewhat as follows, not somewhat, it was exactly as follows. I am responsible for what I see. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience. I choose the feelings I experience, and everything that seems to happen to me. Everything that seems to happen to me, not what happens to me, but seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. Wow, that's a very big revolutionary statement, and a lot of people would be very upset by it. Did I create my cancer? Did I create my disease? Did I was walking by the building and a brick fell down and hit me. Did I create that? So that gets people very upset if you say yes. And also it creates guilt, which has no place in spiritual evolution. So it's very important to understand the words of this prayer in the Course in Miracles, because it's revolutionary, and once you understand it, you will be transformed forever. Okay, so I am responsible for what I see. I am. Now the I am that is responsible for what it sees is not the body or the mind, because the body and the mind are also appearing as events or as perceptual activities or cognitive activities on the screen of consciousness. So I am is not mind, body, or the world. I am is a monad of awareness, differentiated awareness, infinite awareness, but differentiated as individualized as a conscious agent, or what you might call the soul. I am. responsible for what I see. And this implies something very important, and that is seeing, visual experience, is a constructed experience. Visual experience is a constructed experience. So when my eyes are closed, I have no visual experience. I open my eyes. And now suddenly I'm seeing objects. I'm seeing my body. I'm seeing colors, shapes, and forms in real time. And I'm also experiencing space in real time, which is now. How's this happening? Because all that's coming to my eyes are colorless photons. Is my consciousness like a prism? Like a prism? You know, when Isaac Newton directed light to a prism, on the other side were colors. So light is coming into your eyes, and what you're seeing is colors, shapes, and forms. It's the arrangement of these colors, shapes, and forms that gives us the experience of depth. Depth is computed visually as an experience. And so is motion computed perceptually as an experience. Both depth and motion are constructed in the act of seeing. And the act of seeing is an activity in awareness, the act of seeing. And it's also a construction in awareness. And I mentioned this experiment before many times, I think. If you take kittens and you bring them up in a room that has only horizontal stripes, then when they grow up, they see a horizontal world. If you take kittens and you bring them up in a room that has vertical stripes, they see only a horizontal world. Is the world horizontal or is the world vertical? For these cats, it depends on their perceptual activity, which in turn is a learned phenomenon. Okay? Both language and perception are learned activities, especially in human beings. Language creates the interpretation of perceptual activity. So that's all there is. You see, that's all there is. Perceptual activity and its interpretation. Right now I'm only talking about visual perception. Visual perception is constructed and learned through language. Okay, you say this is a book, but it's also a color, a shape, a form. That's a painting of certain things, but it's also a color, shape, or form. And these colors, shapes, and forms exist in superposition, and their arrangement creates the appearance of what we call objects, visual objects, and also creates depth and also creates the illusion of movement. Somebody said not real time, past time, and they're correct actually. It's not real time, it's past time, because by the time you construct the experience, it's over. So that's a good way of saying. We are constructing visual experience, and by the time we construct it, it's over. The continuity is given by the presence of being. So that's very good. Good correction. Okay, now once you understand that we are constructing visual experience, and that also within a certain range of human experience, because, you know, as we can see, other species construct different experiences. Okay? Other experiences have different experiences. An insect with compound eyes can see 360 degrees. Okay, you and I can't. So who can see better, or who constructs visual experience better? an insect with compound eyes that can experience reality simultaneously 360 degrees. And there are many other examples. Navigation through infrared and ultrasound and etc., etc. Okay, so once you understand that visual experience is constructed, you will see that the same is true for other senses. You experience, you construct. Ramanand Dixit says chameleon. Yes, a chameleon's eyeballs swivel on two different axes. What it is experiencing visually as a construct is almost not almost, is basically is unavailable to us. The constructed experience of other species. And so somebody said 360 degrees, no blind spot. Yeah, insects don't have a blind spot. Mammals do. Okay, but that's why they can see 360 degrees. Okay, now once you understand that visual experience is constructed and learned and tied, at least for humans, in language, then you can also see that the same phenomenon holds for any other perceptual activity. So it holds true for hearing, tasting, smelling, and sensing. You know, when I sense something, I sense something, I sense something. That's a constructed experience, because now I'm saying that this sensation is a sensation visually that is a hand touching an arm and moving. Okay, but if I close my eyes, then it's just a sensation, and I have to compute the rest. And today we also know through technology that you can take ultrasound and you can create images out of it. Okay, so when a woman is pregnant, you do an ultrasound image. So the ultrasound is not a human experience, but the image is a human experience, and it's constructed through this technology. The same thing happens when you wear infrared glasses and you can navigate in darkness. That's a constructed experience using technology, but so is your current visual experience constructed. That includes the visual experience and the sensations and the sounds that go with the experience of the human body. So in every act of perception, not only are you constructing your experience of the world, you're constructing your experience of the body, Okay, and so in every act of perception, you create your experience of the universe and also of your body. So I am responsible for what I see, what I hear, what I taste, what I smell, what I sense, including the sense of space and time. I am responsible. But even responsible has to be defined. Okay, responsibility means the ability to respond. Okay, so most of the time we are responding unconsciously in the construction of experience, whether it's the experience of the world or the experience of the body, and the two go together. You can't experience the world unless you also experience the body. Okay, the two are unified as an experience. And I am responsible for constructing this experience. It's a learned phenomenon, and unfortunately, we all are such biological robots that we create the same experiences over and over and over again, and we recycle them and we call them reality, but they are our constructs. And as I said, that's not only true of visual constructs, but every construct. Every construct. So now, I am responsible for what I see. We can also substitute with that for what I experience. For what I experience. And responsible means the ability to respond. I can respond reflexly through habit and conditioning, or I can respond creatively by putting the pause button and choosing the experience through attention and intention. Okay, attention localizes the experience, and intention is how we interpret the experience. Okay, I'm responsible for what I experience. I choose the feelings I have. Why? Because the feelings I have are the result of the interpretation of the experience. Okay, so in fact, we do choose the feelings we have. And everything that seems to happen to me, because it doesn't happen, nothing happens to awareness. Nothing happens to awareness. What happens is a changing experience that awareness is having. So nothing happens to you. Everything that seems to happen to me, the body seems to happen to me, the mind seems to happen to me, the world seems to happen to me, but it's not happening to me. It is being constructed in that which I call I am, which is no location in space-time. No location in space-time. I am is formless, infinite, dynamic, and modifying itself into form and phenomena. The form is an appearance, but it's actually an evanescent snapshot, and it disappears as soon as it appears, only to be followed by another snapshot. And so, stringing together these snapshots of experience creates the what we can only say, the illusion of space-time, causality, objects, bodies, and minds, which are all symbolic signatures of species of consciousness. Species of consciousness. So is perceptual reality accurate? Obviously not. Perceptual reality tells me that the ground I'm standing on is stationary, which is good, because otherwise if I actually experienced it as spinning at dizzying speeds and hurtling through space at thousands of miles an hour, I'd get so dizzy that I wouldn't be able to survive as a biological organism. Similarly, if I didn't experience the earth as flat, even though I know it's a globe, I would not be able to walk on it. So, all experience is constructed conveniently for the survival of the biological organism and its propagation, but it is a trickster. Reality is a trickster, because the I am, which is formless, spaceless, timeless, infinite being, is actually creating that. Ramanand Dixit just now said, curving back myself upon myself, I create again and again. Yes, that's a quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Prakratim swam vashtbai vishrajami puna puna. Curving back within myself, I create the experience of mind, body, universe. I construct it. I choose the feelings I experience. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for in the questions I pose to myself, and receive as I have asked. The question embodies the answer. Okay? Nature never reveals herself to us as she is, but as exposed to our method of questioning. And ultimately, it's not nature, it is ourself. We pose questions to ourself, and then based on the questions we pose, we get an experience, and we call that reality, including the reality of mind-body universe. So, I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. In the deeper reality, nothing happens to me, only seems to happen to me. And that seeming to happen to me always occurs through contrast. Up and down, hot and cold, pleasure and pain, suffering, happiness, all these things through contrast, okay? Because without contrast, no experience. Okay, so fundamental I am is choosing experiences and contrasting them with other experiences. And this contrast gives us the experience of perception and the interpretation of perception. So, in this deeper reality, everything is awareness modifying itself as a sensation. Just use the word sensation. Sensation means to sense. Visual sensation, tactile sensation, auditory sensation, whatever sensation, we sense that. And then we sense things that are invisible, like space. We sense time, invisible. We even sense, or scientists sense something, mathematicians sense something called the curvature of space-time, whatever that is, which then creates gravity. But gravity is an experience before we give it that name. It's a knowing. So there's knowing and experience prior to the creation of objects, including the object that you call your body. Let me summarize the Course in Miracles prayer once again. I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. Now this is, very ancient too. Ask and you shall receive. So what do you ask? You ask for knowing yourself. And when you know yourself, you will know yourself ultimately as the total universe. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the universe. Tat Tvamasi. You are that. I am that. All this is that. That's all there is. Sat Chit Ananda. Truth. Sat Chit. Knowingness, awareness. Ananda. Infinite joy by knowing that you are infinite. So that's it. That's the prayer. Ask and you shall receive. Ancient prayer. So let's go by this rule. Ask only the best for yourself and for all the world.